I'm a history buff, and Ben Franklin and Thomas Paine are two guys who would have been completely stoked on skateboarding. It's this individual and creative outlet that both of them were really into that type of thing in their time. You know, they really believed in the power of the individual to make a change. They really believed in the power of the individual to express himself, you know, and at total liberty. It's all about liberty. Philadelphia is all about liberty.
When you create a skate park and you put a fence around it and you section it off, I mean, there's a certain level of incarceration that you feel. You're like, well, this is where you're allowed to skateboard, and that's the only place you're allowed to skateboard, and that's not what it's about.
There is an extreme, like statistically speaking, of like total liberty and no liberty. FDR is total liberty, it's total freedom.
Down here, from sunset to sunrise, we mix equal parts concrete and passion.
Their heart is in the FDR, you know what I mean? Like all the locals, like, we should all get tattoos.
We ignore played-out corporate-sponsored fashion while fashioning ourselves as wild, wild East settlers, staking our claim to turf which can only be seen through pure bloodshot eyes.
We basically built what we want to ride.
As we meticulously lay our cinder block-covered version of paradise.
People call it Philly side a lot. Like after Burnside, and we're like, no, it's not Philly side, it's FDR.
Battle physically, conquer mentally.
If you don't know this park, it's gonna take you down.
There's no safety involved. You just can run into someone at any time, or you could, you know, take a slam and someone's gonna run right over you because they want to go.
Philly is pretty much like Rocky Balboa land.
Some people don't have insurance, you know, they get hurt, they can't go to the hospital or anything.
Have no fear, Skater Man is here, cried the retired magician with the extended belly and the wide-eyed grin which provide cover for his board.
If you can't skate it, maybe you shouldn't be skating.
Dude in the Phillies helmet, 4 hours after a CAT scan, high-spirited just after sunrise, chased by a shot of Jack and the smooth lines his deck defines.
Whenever someone finds out you're a skater, but they're still like, first question is like, do you compete? Are you sponsored? You know, they just haven't picked up on why we do it.
Officer Peachy arrives, busting balls in a playful way with a comfortable style which speaks of a decade-long respect and understanding.
My relationship with these gentlemen, is like me and my mom and dad. I come and talk to them.
Peachy's cool. You know, what can you say? He's been here since the beginning, just like all of us.
And they respect me, and I respect them for what they're doing.
Omnipresent TZ, bartender at the park's speakeasy, behind the van, camera in hand with a present smile, explaining how the outside simply doesn't understand.
Skateboarding has always been about a mistrust of authority. And I wouldn't have gone to law school if I wasn't a skateboarder who mistrusted authority just like the rest of my guys.
For down here, dues can't be paid in days, brother. And they'll remind you of that if you get too comfortable too quickly.
Well, I mean, there's guys out here that would prefer to just give up life and live under the bridge, you know?
Battle physically, conquer mentally.
I know a handful of guys out here that don't have jobs, they just live to skate this park.
I've been down here since like yesterday at 1, said the happy, sad young kid with the old man's face who couldn't think of a better place to be while seemingly having nowhere else to go.
I feel that every town should have, the softball fields, and then there should be something to skate.
Down here we laugh at dress codes while enforcing our own code. Then watch as baiters and haters jeopardize the very thing we hold most sacred.
But this is a real special place. There's a lot of rippers down here. A lot of my really good friends have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this place, but it's also pretty blown out, There's a lot of goofballs here, and kind of watering down the scene.
The 4th of July is considered the anniversary for FDR. Many years ago, the city built the large pyramid and the smaller one. So we kind of consider that the anniversary.
Over the years, they did it as a fundraiser. They just started out on the 4th of July, raising money for the cement, for the upkeep and the cleaning of the park.
Every year the bands come and, we have a good time.
Yeah, man, we're grilling out over here, we're drinking beer, everybody's fine.
Like, do you even remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Lately, it's just kind of gotten out of control. A lot of people come who aren't really affiliated with skateboarding.
And I freaking see this little scrap between these people, and I freaking lost it, start yelling at them. This is our park, this is 4th of July. You don't come down here bringing your bullshit here, dude. We don't want to see that stuff, get the fuck out. And then, of course, it got worse then.
It wasn't even skaters fighting other people or skaters fighting skaters. It was people fighting other people.
Ow.
And it happening at our area.
Like punch in the face, I start fighting a guy with a knife.
And us trying to break it up.
Another guy comes, I throw him on the ground, I start punching him, and then freaking kicked in the face and hit over the head with a chair or a skateboard.
This didn't have to happen, said the scruffy, slender skater with the smooth gait as he stood forlorn and dreading the future.
This is not our scene. This is not what we're about. And what happens is it gets on the news, and everybody says, "Oh, skateboarders starting fights, and they all carry guns and this and that." That's not what we are, and it's ruining our image at a time when it's very important to make sure that people understand what we are about.
This is so sad, he repeated solemnly, while surveying the dispersing crowd and the ambulance inhabitants who ollied toward higher ground without bloodshed.
I was really sad. I honestly thought that I'd come down in 2 days and the park would be ripped down.
Probably got 6, I think it was 2 or 3 here, 1 here, close to 3 here, and then I got 14 to 16 staples all around back in here.
When I was here, everything was going pretty good on that day. They were skateboarding, having a good old time. I didn't hear no music or anything playing, and if it was, I didn't hear it. And when I got done work that day, I don't know what happened.
It's not that I want a police officer here. I don't think that's not the solution. The idea though is that in years past, we have had a police presence at the park during the 4th of July. And the day went off perfectly fine. And they didn't bother us about the music, they didn't bother us about the fireworks, because they realized that things were just under control. But the past 2 years, they've just there hasn't been as strong of a police presence, and perhaps that's why the fight started.
But I know it wasn't the skaters, the actual guys that originally started everything. I know it wasn't them. It was just people from outside came in and wanted to start some trouble. And from what I gather, it was about who was graffitiing over whose name, and that's what started.
Hey man, I didn't think I was going to be all like that. People were like, "Oh, you didn't know this was a tagger war?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I didn't know."
Would you handle it differently?
Hey, right, I'll fucking get my car.
There's not too many people gave back like these gentlemen did with their own money in their own pocket to give back to the young generation growing up. These gentlemen, if I'm in here and I got a scuffle, they will all be behind my back and back at me. If there's something ever happened, they'd be right behind me, every one of them.